As the night falls and the world outside hums softly, there are whispers in the wind, stories carried on the air. Beneath the sky, the mountains rest in quiet strength, their peaks veiled by the mist of ancient times. The valleys lie nestled in the embrace of the land, cradled like secrets, waiting to be discovered, one gentle truth at a time. Mountains, those towering giants, have a way of making time stand still. They hold within them the memory of ages carved by wind, rain, and the slow, steady touch of the earth itself. The tallest among them, the Himalayas, rise like the bones of the planet, their peaks touching the heavens, yet their roots buried deep in the earth's heart. Over millions of years, they have grown slowly, ever so slowly, adding layers of mystery to the land beneath. These mountains are alive in ways we do not always see. They breathe with the rhythms of the earth, shifting and shaping, ever-changing, yet timeless. In the shadow of the mountains, valleys breathe their own quiet life. They are the earth's cradle carved by the flow of water, where the land sinks gently to embrace the sky. Valleys are spaces of rest, of hidden beauty, where the world is softer. The Grand Canyon, a place both fierce and tender, reveals the deep, intricate work of time. The Colorado River has carved its way through the earth, leaving behind the grandest of valleys, each layer of rock a record of the earth's past. Here, the secrets of the world are written in colors, each layer a whisper of time's passage. But there is another kind of valley, one that forms not from rivers, but from the movements of the earth itself. Tectonic valleys. These valleys, shaped by the shifting of the earth's plates, are as mysterious as they are profound. They remind us that the earth, much like the human heart, is always in motion, even when we cannot see it. In places like the Great Rift Valley in Africa, the earth pulls apart, creating a space where life flourishes in unexpected ways. It is a reminder that creation is often born from the tension between things pulling in opposite directions. Yet valleys are not merely places of geological wonder. They are also places where life finds its way. In the heart of these valleys, hidden meadows bloom with wildflowers, their colors bright against the green of the grass. The air in these quiet places is thick with the scent of pine and earth, and every breath feels like a return to something familiar, something ancient. Here, the soil is rich with stories, and every step you take seems to echo the footsteps of those who walked before. In the valleys, rivers flow like veins of the earth, carrying life from one place to another. These rivers are not just water, they are the lifeblood of the landscape, weaving through the land like the threads of a delicate tapestry. The Amazon, winding through the heart of South America, is a perfect example. It is the largest river system in the world, yet it remains largely untamed, flowing through jungles that are as ancient as time itself. It is here, in the hidden folds of valleys, that the most curious of creatures find their homes. Every drop of water carries with it the seeds of life, and every ripple is a reminder of the constant, gentle flow of time. The wind that rushes through the mountain passes carries stories of far-off places. It whispers to the valleys, telling tales of the oceans that once covered the land, of glaciers that carved their way through the earth. The wind, ever moving, has seen everything. It knows the secrets of the valleys, the mountains, the trees, and the sky. It holds in its breath the memories of the world, past and present, and with every gust, It carries those memories to the next place, to the next moment in time. Mountains and valleys, though silent, are never still. They are full of life, full of stories waiting to be told. They are the keepers of secrets, of things hidden beneath layers of rock and time, waiting patiently to be discovered. But perhaps the greatest secret of all is that these places, these quiet, majestic lands, are not as distant as they seem. They are in us too. We are made of the same earth, the same water, the same breath of wind that touches the peaks and the valleys. In every heartbeat, there is a rhythm like the mountains. In every quiet thought, there is a valley, waiting to be filled with the peaceful sounds of the world. As you lie here, in the soft glow of night, think of the valleys and mountains that are all around, hidden beneath the folds of your own thoughts, waiting to rest. Let their silence wash over you like the gentle breeze that cools the peaks, like the soft whisper of the river through the valley. Let the peace of the earth fill your mind as the mountains and valleys fall to sleep, just as you do now, in the quiet cradle of the world. And so with each breath, the earth itself exhales, and the mountains, the valleys, and you drift into a peaceful, unspoken rest. In the stillness of the night, where the stars hang low like distant lanterns, the mountains and valleys rest, their secrets cradled in the depths of time. It is here, in the quiet shadows, that the earth's pulse can be felt, not as a heartbeat, but as a slow, steady rhythm beneath the surface, like a lullaby sung to the stars. The great peaks, towering above the land, are not just rocks and soil. They are the bones of the planet itself, shaped by forces unseen. For millions of years, the Earth has moved, shifted, and shaped itself, carving the land into the forms we now recognize. But this movement, quiet and constant, goes unnoticed by most. It is a reminder that the world we see is only a surface, a fleeting glimpse of a much deeper, more profound story. The valleys, those gentle depressions in the land, are where the Earth's history is written. They are the scars of ancient rivers, long since dried up, and the whispers of glaciers that once roamed the Earth, carving paths through rock and soil. These valleys are like the pages of a book, waiting to be read. The deep gorges and lush green hollows tell stories of the Earth's youth, of times when the world was wild and untamed. Some valleys, like the valleys of the Alps, are filled with echoes of ancient ice, remnants of glaciers that once covered the land like a heavy blanket, slowly retreating with the warming of the Earth's climate. As they receded, they left behind valleys of extraordinary beauty, places where the land has been shaped not by time alone, but by the slow, patient work of ice and water, carving out spaces for life to flourish. But not all valleys are born from ice. Some are born from the quiet, constant movement of the Earth itself. These tectonic valleys, formed by the shifting of the Earth's crust, are like the hidden chambers of the Earth, places where the planet opens itself up to reveal its inner workings. In places like the San Andreas Fault, the land itself pulls apart, creating space for new life to take root. These valleys are born of tension, a subtle reminder that the Earth is always in motion, always growing, always changing. The gentle rumble beneath the surface is the Earth's breath, inhaling and exhaling with every shift of the tectonic plates. It is the pulse of life itself, slow and steady, hidden in the depths of the Earth's bones. As the mountains stand tall, their peaks reaching towards the heavens, they are not silent. They are alive with the hum of the Earth's energy. The peaks of the Andes, those towering sentinels of stone, are part of the longest mountain chain in the world. They stretch like a spine down the length of South America, each peak a part of the Earth's living structure. The Andes are not just mountains. They are the Earth's back, supporting the weight of the world above. The volcanic activity beneath them is a reminder of the Earth's constant transformation, of the fire that lies deep within, waiting to emerge. These mountains, though calm now, are the product of millions of years of volcanic activity, and their eruptions, though infrequent, remind us that the Earth is never still. Even in its quietest moments, it is alive with potential, with the quiet energy that powers the planet itself. The valleys beneath these peaks are no less alive. They are nourished by the waters that trickle down from the highlands, streams and rivers that carry life through the land. The rivers that carve their way through the valleys are not just water. They are the Earth's blood, flowing through the veins of the landscape. The Nile, the longest river in the world, has shaped the valley it flows through for thousands of years. It has carved the land, bringing life to the arid deserts of Egypt, creating an oasis of green where none would exist. The Nile is not just a river. It is the lifeblood of a civilization, a force that has shaped the course of history. But the rivers are not always gentle. Sometimes the water flows with a fierce energy, carving new paths through the land, changing the landscape in ways we cannot predict. The Yangtze River, the longest river in China, has flooded its banks for centuries, reshaping the valleys it passes through. These floods, though destructive, are also a part of the natural cycle of life. They bring with them new soil, fertile ground for crops to grow, and new opportunities for life to flourish. The rivers, with their ever-changing flow, remind us that life itself is not static. It is in constant motion, shifting and adapting to the rhythms of the world. In the quiet of the valleys, where the rivers run deep and the mountains stand tall, there is a sense of timelessness. The Earth, in its quiet wisdom, has been here long before us and will remain long after we are gone. It is a reminder that we are but a small part of a much greater whole. The valleys, with their soft curves and gentle slopes, remind us that the world does not need to be grand or dramatic to be beautiful. Sometimes the most profound beauty lies in the quiet moments, in the spaces between the mountains, in the gentle flow of the rivers, in the subtle breath of the earth as it moves beneath us. And as you listen, as the night settles around you and the stars shine softly above, remember that the mountains and valleys are always here, waiting, breathing, and living. They are part of you, part of the world you are a part of. And as you rest, as the night embraces you, know that the earth, in its quiet wisdom, is always with you, its pulse a constant gentle rhythm, just as your own heartbeat is. So, drift softly, as the mountains and valleys do, into the quiet embrace of sleep. The world is vast, yet we are all connected, breathing together in the silence of the night. As the stars above twinkle softly, casting their quiet light upon the world below, the valleys lay still, cradled in the embrace of the earth. There, in the spaces between the towering peaks, the air is thick with the history of time itself. The gentle curves of the valley floor tell a story of endless change, a story that has unfolded over countless millennia. It is a story written in the flow of rivers and the passage of seasons, where each day brings with it a new chapter, a subtle revelation that seems to echo across the land. In places like the Valley of the Kings, where the pharaohs of ancient Egypt rest in their tombs, the silence is heavy with the weight of history. The valley, though quiet now, has witnessed the rise and fall of dynasties, the whispers of rulers and their secrets carried away by the winds that still pass through the desert. These valleys are not mere places of rest. They are repositories of time, holding memories in every grain of sand, in every rock, in every breath of wind. They are the keepers of the earth's deepest stories, telling of triumph and tragedy, of those who lived and those who are no more. The valleys remember long after the people have passed, their stories woven into the fabric of the land itself. The hills and valleys of the Scottish Highlands also carry this weight. There, where the wind howls through the glens and the mist rises from the lochs, the land breathes with the memories of those who have walked it before. The battles fought, the songs sung, the love shared. All of these things are etched into the very earth, waiting to be felt by those who walk quietly enough to listen. In the quiet recesses of these valleys, the air seems to vibrate with the resonance of centuries. It is here that the heart of the land beats most strongly, and if you listen carefully, you might just hear the soft murmur of the past. The mountains that surround these valleys, risen like great guardians, are more than just giants of stone. They are ancient beings, shaped by the forces of nature over eons, their surfaces scarred by the passage of time. The Alps, for instance, are not simply a range of mountains. They are the bones of the earth, rising up from the sea in a majestic display of power and grace. The Alps were once the seabed of an ancient ocean, where marine life flourished long before the first human footsteps left their mark on the land. Over time, tectonic plates pushed and pulled, lifting the ocean floor to become the mountains we see today. The valleys between these peaks tell the tale of this transformation, a story of slow and patient change, written in the rock and soil that now form the land beneath our feet. In the valleys of the Alps, life has found a way to thrive, even in the harshest of conditions. Here, the air is thin and the winters are long, but the land is rich with a certain quiet beauty. The valleys are home to fields of wildflowers that bloom in the spring, their vibrant colors a stark contrast against the snow-capped peaks that rise above them. It is a reminder that life, like the mountains themselves, is both fragile and resilient. In the quiet spaces between the towering peaks, life finds a way to grow, to flourish, and to bloom, no matter the challenges that lie ahead. And yet, there are valleys that remain untouched, places where nature has carved its own path, free from the hand of human influence. The valleys of New Zealand's Southern Alps, for example, remain largely untouched by the modern world. These remote valleys, hidden deep within the mountains, are sanctuaries of peace and solitude. Here, the rivers flow crystal clear, their waters carrying the purest reflections of the sky above. The valleys, though small in scale compared to the towering peaks that surround them, hold a power all their own. They are places of retreat, of quiet contemplation, where the noise of the world seems to fade away, leaving only the soft sounds of nature, wind, water, and the rustle of leaves in the trees. The rivers that carve their way through these valleys are not simply channels of water. They are the lifeblood of the land, the veins through which the earth's energy flows. The Yangtze River, cutting its path through China's valleys, is one such river, flowing with a quiet power that has shaped the landscape for centuries. It is the longest river in Asia, and as it meanders through the valleys, it carries with it the stories of countless generations. It has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the ebb and flow of cultures, and the shifting of the earth itself. The river's path is like a gentle thread that weaves through the valleys, connecting the past, present, and future. In the valleys of the earth, there is a deep connection between water and land. Water shapes the valleys, carving deep gorges and wide open plains, and in turn, the valleys nurture the water, feeding it with the richness of the soil. The rivers that run through these valleys are the messengers of the land, carrying with them the essence of the places they pass through. They connect the distant mountains to the distant seas, bringing with them the wisdom of the earth itself. The valleys, though quiet, are alive with the pulse of life, the rhythm of water flowing through the land, shaping and changing it as time flows onward. And in these quiet valleys, where the earth's breath is soft, where the rivers carry life through the land, there is a peace that can only be found in the slow and steady passage of time. The earth, in its infinite wisdom, has created spaces for us to pause, to rest, and to listen. The valleys are the world's resting places, where time slows down, and where we can hear the quiet whispers of the world around us. As you listen to the soft murmur of the river, to the whisper of the wind through the trees, let yourself be carried away by the gentle flow of the valleys. Let the quiet beauty of the land fill your mind, as the mountains stand watch, silent and steadfast, and as the night deepens, let the peace of the earth settle around you, wrapping you in its gentle embrace, like the quiet stillness of the valley itself. As the moon rises higher in the sky, casting its soft glow across the earth, the mountains and valleys seem to breathe as one. The peaks, though towering and grand, seem less imposing in the stillness of the night. Their jagged outlines blur in the silvery light, softened by the shadows that stretch long across the land. The valleys, nestled quietly in their embrace, seem to hold their breath, waiting for the world to speak again. Yet, in their silence, there is a profound conversation taking place, one that spans time and space, a dialogue between the land and the heavens. In the spaces between the peaks, the valleys whisper secrets to one another, secrets of the ages. The Great Rift Valley, stretching through the heart of Africa, speaks of a land where the earth itself is torn asunder, where the tectonic plates stretch apart, creating vast chasms in the land. This valley, though deeply scarred, is rich with life. It tells a story of creation, of the forces that shape the world, of the delicate balance between destruction and renewal. The valley itself seems to hold its breath as it slowly expands, like the pulse of the earth quickening with every shift of the tectonic plates. This valley, though born from chaos, is a place of quiet beauty. The land that once split apart now flourishes with life. The Great Rift Valley is home to some of the oldest human ancestors, whose footprints can still be found in the dust of the valley floor. It is a place where the past and the present meet, where the stories of ancient peoples are written in the stones and the soil. The valley is alive with the echoes of history, but it is also a place of new beginnings, where life continues to emerge from the Earth's deep wounds. In other valleys, the landscape tells a different story. The valleys of the Swiss Alps, for example, are not born of tectonic forces, but rather the slow, patient work of glaciers. These glaciers, immense and ancient, have carved deep gorges into the land over millions of years. They are the silent sculptors of the mountains, shaping the valleys with each passing year. As the glaciers slowly retreat, they leave behind a landscape of crystal-clear lakes and fertile meadows, places where life can thrive in the shadow of the peaks. The valleys of the Swiss Alps are also places of quiet contemplation. The air here is thin, and the wind carries the scent of pine and fresh snow. The land, though harsh and rugged, is filled with a quiet peace that is hard to find in the hustle of the world. Here, in the stillness of the valleys, one can almost hear the earth's deep, slow breath. The silence between the peaks is filled with the sound of life. Birds singing in the trees, the soft rustle of leaves in the wind, the gentle lapping of water against the shores of the lakes. It is a place where time seems to slow down, where the only rhythm is the quiet pulse of the land itself. The valleys in the Andes, too, hold their own secrets. These valleys, nestled in the high altitudes of South America, are home to a rich tapestry of life. The land here is harsh, the air thin, but the valleys are alive with color and sound. The lush, green valleys of the Sacred Valley in Peru are teeming with plant and animal life, their vibrant colors contrasting with the rocky, barren peaks that rise above them. The valley is steeped in history, for it is here that the ancient Incas built their cities and temples, their legacy carved into the land. Even now, as you walk through the valley, you can feel the presence of the past, the whispers of the Inca civilization carried on the wind. The Sacred Valley, like many valleys, is a place where time flows differently. The ancient ruins, still standing in quiet reverence, seem to remind us that the land has witnessed so much more than we could ever understand. The valley itself seems to hold its secrets close, offering only glimpses of the past to those who walk its paths. Yet, even as you pass through the valley, you cannot help but feel the weight of history on your shoulders, the presence of those who once lived here, their voices lost to the winds but never forgotten by the land. And in the valleys of the Appalachian Mountains, in the eastern United States, the land speaks in a different tongue. These valleys, shaped by centuries of erosion and weathering, are lush with green forests and rolling hills. The Appalachians are old mountains, weathered by time, and the valleys between them are soft and inviting, a place of calm amidst the rugged landscape. The air here is thick with the scent of wildflowers and damp earth, the land alive with the sounds of birds and insects. The valleys of the Appalachians, though not as dramatic as the peaks of the Himalayas or the Andes, have their own quiet charm, a place where the earth feels close, where the rhythms of nature are woven into the very fabric of the land. The valleys of the Appalachians are also places of deep, quiet beauty. The mountains, once higher, have been worn down by the slow passage of time, leaving behind valleys that are now home to forests and rivers. These valleys are the heart of the Appalachian region, a place where the land has been shaped by the gentle forces of nature. The rivers, once raging torrents, have been softened by time, their waters now flowing calmly through the valleys, carrying with them the stories of the past. The valleys are places of peace, where the land, though old, still holds the power to soothe the soul. As the night deepens and the world falls into a soft, peaceful silence, the mountains and valleys continue their quiet dance. The peaks, though distant, seem to hum with a quiet energy, while the valleys rest, cradled by the earth. The land, in all its stillness, holds a profound peace, a peace that comes from the knowledge that time moves slowly here, and the world does not need to hurry. The valleys, with their soft curves and quiet beauty, are places of rest, of reflection. They remind us that life is not always about movement and noise. Sometimes, the greatest beauty is found in stillness, and so, as the mountains watch over them, the valleys continue to breathe, slow and steady, their secrets whispered on the wind, waiting for those who are willing to listen. In this silence, the world feels vast, yet intimately close. The peaks and valleys, the rivers and trees, the land and the sky, all are connected in a delicate dance, one that moves in rhythm with the heartbeat of the earth. And as you rest, as the quiet of the night surrounds you, know that the land, in all its stillness, is alive, breathing with the pulse of time. And just as the valleys rest between the peaks, so too do you, embraced by the quiet, waiting for the world to unfold once more. As the first light of dawn gently kisses the peaks, the valleys stir softly, waking from their peaceful slumber. The earth, beneath the soft caress of the sun's warmth, begins to breathe again. In the stillness of the early morning, when the world feels as though it has yet to speak, there is a profound sense of connection, a subtle awareness that everything, every mountain, every valley, every breath, is part of a much larger, much quieter rhythm. This rhythm, though unseen, is felt in every corner of the earth, in every valley that cradles the land. The valleys, bathed in the soft hues of morning light, seem to hold their breath as the day begins. There is a serenity in the way the light spills across the landscape, cast in long shadows that stretch across the land like the fingers of time itself. The quiet hum of the earth's pulse becomes more apparent now, a soft and steady beat that echoes through the valleys, through the very fabric of the land. It is a rhythm that is both ancient and new, as if the world itself is taking its first breath each morning, ready to begin again. In the valleys of the Andes, where the land seems to rise and fall in quiet waves, the rhythm of the earth is felt in the beat of the heart. These valleys are alive with the sounds of the wind, which rustles through the tall grasses and the deep, rich soil that cradles the roots of the world. The air here, though thin and high, is heavy with the promise of life. The valleys, shaped by the slow, steady movement of glaciers and time, are filled with the songs of birds that rise with the sun, their songs echoing against the rugged walls of the mountains. The sound of the river, gentle and constant, flows through the valley like the heartbeat of the land, connecting everything in its path. But it is not just the sound of the land that speaks in these valleys. It is also the stillness. The silence, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant call of a bird, is profound. The valleys, though alive with movement, are also places of deep peace. It is as if the earth itself has paused, holding its breath, allowing time to move slowly, as if each moment were precious, each second filled with a quiet purpose. Here, in the stillness of the valleys, the land and the sky seem to meet in an embrace, a dance of light and shadow that brings the landscape to life in a way that is both gentle and profound. The valleys of the Rocky Mountains, though distant in their own way, carry a similar pulse. Here, the land is shaped by the weight of glaciers that have carved through the rock, leaving behind valleys filled with crystal-clear lakes and meadows that stretch out beneath the towering peaks. These valleys are rich with history, shaped by forces that are beyond human comprehension. The wind that rushes through these valleys carries with it the memory of glaciers, of ancient ice that once covered the land, slowly retreating as the earth warmed. The valleys, though bathed in sunlight, are a reminder of the forces that shape the world, the slow, patient work of nature that continues even when we are not looking. And in the valleys of New Zealand's southern Alps, the pulse of the earth can be felt in the quiet flow of rivers that cut their way through the land. These rivers, though small in comparison to the mighty rivers of the world, carry with them the stories of the land. The Southern Alps, though not as old as some of the world's great mountain ranges, are nonetheless ancient, shaped by the movement of the Earth's crust, by the slow pull of tectonic forces that continue to shape the land. The valleys here are places of stillness and peace, where the rhythm of the land is slow and steady, like the soft, steady beat of a heart that has known the passage of time. In these valleys, where the land breathes with a quiet pulse, life continues to unfold in small, delicate ways. The flowers that bloom in the spring, the birds that sing in the morning, the gentle rustle of the leaves in the breeze, all are part of the larger rhythm of the earth, a rhythm that beats with the quiet force of time itself. In the stillness of these valleys, the land seems to exhale, releasing its breath in a soft sigh that carries the promise of another day, another moment, another breath. The valleys, with their quiet beauty and subtle grace, are not just places of rest. They are places of growth. The land that rests in the embrace of these valleys is fertile, rich with the nutrients that have been carried from the mountains above. The soil, soft and welcoming, is the foundation for new life to take root. Here, in the quiet corners of the world, new beginnings are born, quietly and gently, as the earth continues its slow, steady dance with time. As you listen to the gentle whispers of the valleys, to the soft rustling of the leaves, the distant sound of flowing water, let the rhythm of the earth seep into your bones. Let the quiet pulse of the land soothe you, filling you with a sense of peace and connection. In the silence between the peaks, in the stillness of the valleys, there is a quiet truth that we are all part of this great, slow dance of life, connected to the land, to the sky, to the rhythm of the world. And as the night falls and the stars rise higher, let the quiet pulse of the land carry you softly into sleep, where dreams flow like the rivers through the valleys, carrying with them the promise of another peaceful day. In the calm embrace of the night, remember that the valleys and the peaks, the rivers and the winds, are all part of you, as much a part of your being as the breath you take. Let them lull you into rest, knowing that the world, in all its quiet splendor, continues its gentle rhythm, carrying us all along with it, through the night and into the dawn. As the world slowly slips into the embrace of twilight, the mountains stand as silent witnesses to the ebb and flow of time. The valleys, bathed in the soft light of the setting sun, seem to hold their breath as if the land itself is waiting for the night to unfold. There is a stillness here, one that is not empty but full of life, full of secrets held deep within the folds of the earth. The quiet echo of the world's breath is felt in the valleys, a pulse that reverberates through the land, as if time itself pauses for just a moment to catch its breath. In the quiet of the valleys, the evening mist begins to gather, swirling through the trees and over the soft hills. The air grows cooler, but the land remains warm from the sun's touch, the earth holding on to its warmth like a secret, slow to release it. The sound of the wind, soft and gentle, carries the promise of the night ahead. The trees sway, their branches moving in perfect rhythm with the breeze, as though the earth is singing a lullaby, and the land, in return, hums in quiet harmony. The valleys seem to breathe in unison with the wind, the gentle rise and fall of the land matching the quiet flow of the air. As the evening deepens, the land begins to shift in its own quiet way. The valleys, though still and peaceful, are alive with a subtle energy that seems to flow beneath the surface, just out of sight. In the valley of the Loire, in France, the vineyards stretch across the land like the threads of an ancient tapestry, each vine a part of the larger story of the earth. These valleys, shaped by centuries of cultivation, are filled with life, both the life of the land itself and the life of those who tend it. The soft roll of the hills, the quiet rhythm of the grapevines reaching for the sky, all speak of a harmony between nature and the human hand. It is a dance that is unfolded over countless generations, a rhythm that continues even in the quiet of the night. In these valleys, the night is never truly silent. The soft chirp of crickets, the rustle of leaves in the wind, the distant call of an owl, all fill the air with the sounds of life that thrive even as the world sleeps. The sound of the earth's breath is ever present, a constant hum that echoes through the valleys, like the heartbeat of the land. It is in these moments, when the day has ended and the night has begun, that the true magic of the valleys is revealed. It is a magic that is not loud or dramatic, but gentle and subtle, like the quiet unfolding of a secret that has been waiting to be told. The valleys, though often thought of as places of quiet rest, are also places of profound transformation. The Grand Canyon, in the southwestern United States, is a testament to the power of time and water. Over millions of years, the Colorado River has carved its way through the rock, leaving behind a landscape that is both vast and intimate, grand and detailed. The canyon, with its intricate layers of red and orange rock, tells the story of the Earth's deep past, of a time when the land was shaped by forces far beyond human control. The valley itself is a canvas, painted with the strokes of time, where every layer of rock, every curve in the landscape, holds a memory of the Earth's history. But even in the face of such grandeur, the valley itself remains humble. The Earth, though shaped by powerful forces, continues to breathe, slow and steady, beneath the surface. The Colorado River, winding its way through the canyon, is not just a river, but a reminder of the quiet persistence of nature. It flows through the land with a patient grace, carving new paths, shaping the valley with each passing day. The river, like the valleys themselves, carries with it the promise of renewal, of transformation. It is a reminder that even in the stillness, even in the quiet, there is always movement, always change. In the valleys of the Himalayas, the story of the earth unfolds in a different way. These valleys, surrounded by some of the tallest peaks in the world, are shaped by the slow, powerful movement of glaciers. The glaciers, like frozen rivers, have carved deep gorges into the land, leaving behind valleys that are both majestic and humbling. The landscape here is one of extremes, where the air is thin and the land is harsh. Yet, in these valleys, life finds a way to thrive. The rivers that wind their way through the valleys are not just water, but the lifeblood of the land, carrying nutrients from the glaciers to the fertile soil below. These valleys are alive with the quiet hum of life. Each plant, each animal, each person a part of the delicate balance of nature. And in the valleys of the Swiss Alps, where the land is soft and the air is pure, there is a quiet peace that seems to envelop the world. The valleys here are filled with meadows that bloom in the summer, their colors vibrant against the backdrop of the snow-capped peaks. The rivers that run through these valleys are clear and cold, their waters rushing over the rocks in a rhythmic pattern that speaks of the timeless flow of nature. These valleys, though shaped by the powerful forces of ice and water, are also places of quiet reflection, where the land seems to hold its breath, waiting for the world to pause and listen. In the quiet of the valleys, there is a sense of connection, a connection to the earth, to the sky, to the pulse of life that flows beneath the surface. The valleys, though small in comparison to the towering peaks that surround them, hold a quiet power of their own. They are the places where life finds a way, where the earth's breath can be felt most strongly, where the subtle rhythms of the world unfold in their own time. The valleys are where the land comes alive, not with loud, dramatic events, but with the slow, steady pulse of nature's quiet, constant movement. As you listen to the soft whispers of the wind, the gentle flow of the rivers, and the quiet rustling of the leaves, let the rhythm of the land wash over you. The earth's breath is constant, gentle, and ever-present. It moves through the valleys, through the mountains, through the rivers, and through you. And as the night deepens and the world falls into peaceful slumber, remember that the valleys and the mountains continue their quiet dance, their rhythm never ceasing, always steady, always true. Let the earth's breath carry you softly into sleep, where the quiet of the land becomes the quiet of your mind, and the pulse of the valleys lulls you into peaceful rest. As the stars flicker softly in the velvety night sky, the valleys remain quiet, cradled in the embrace of the land. The peaks stand tall, their jagged edges softened by the twilight, as if the mountains themselves are resting, awaiting the dawn. Below, in the valleys, the air hums gently with the pulse of life, though it is a pulse that is rarely noticed. It is a subtle rhythm, slow and steady, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. This pulse, though hidden beneath the surface, runs through every valley, every river, every rock. It is a reminder that the earth is alive, not just in the grand, sweeping movements of nature, but in the quiet, everyday workings of the world. In the valley of Yosemite, where the granite cliffs rise high above the valley floor, the pulse of life is felt in the soft rustling of the leaves, in the quiet flow of the Merced River as it winds its way through the valley. Here, the land seems to breathe in unison with the sky. The air is cool and crisp, carrying with it the scent of pine and wildflowers. The valley itself, though carved by the force of glaciers millions of years ago, has a timeless quality. It feels as though the land has always been here, patiently waiting, listening to the whispers of the wind, watching as the seasons come and go. The Merced River, though it flows gently through the valley, carries with it the life of the land. The river's waters, fed by the snowmelt from the high peaks, are clear and cold, reflecting the sky and the surrounding cliffs. The river's steady flow is like a gentle lullaby, its rhythmic sound filling the valley with a sense of peace. It is not the grand roar of a waterfall, but the soft, steady sound of water flowing over smooth stones that speaks of the quiet power of the earth. The river moves in its own time, following its own path, just as the valleys do, shaped by forces both seen and unseen. In the valleys of the Andes, the pulse of life is felt in the very air. The high altitudes here bring a sense of closeness to the sky, a feeling that the earth and the heavens are intertwined. The valleys, though remote, are filled with life. The vibrant colors of the flowers that bloom in the spring contrast against the rocky slopes of the surrounding peaks, and the rivers that wind through the valleys bring life to the plants and animals that call this place home. Here, in the remote corners of the earth, life finds a way to flourish, even in the harshest conditions. The pulse of life in these valleys is one of resilience, of quiet strength, as the land continues to evolve, shaped by the passage of time. The valleys in the Sahara Desert, though vast and barren, are no less alive. They are shaped by the wind, their surfaces constantly shifting, sculpted by the gentle touch of sand and time. The wind, though quiet, carries with it the whispers of the earth as it moves through the dunes, shaping the landscape with each passing breeze. The valleys here are not filled with the lush greenery of other lands, but they are filled with life nonetheless. In the depths of these valleys, water collects, pooling in hidden oases that sustain life in a place that seems inhospitable. Here, the pulse of life is quiet, subtle but ever-present, a reminder that even in the harshest places, life can be found if you know where to look. In the valleys of the Swiss Alps, life moves at a different pace. The rhythm of the land here is steady and slow, marked by the changing of the seasons and the quiet flow of the rivers that run through the valleys. The valleys are alive with the sound of the wind, which rustles through the tall grasses and the pine trees that line the hills. The air is cool and fresh, and the land feels soft, as though the earth itself is cradling the valley in a gentle embrace. In the spring and summer, the valleys are filled with wildflowers, their colors bright against the backdrop of the snow-capped peaks. The pulse of life here is one of renewal, as the land comes alive each year with the changing seasons. But the valleys of the world are not just places of beauty. They are places of quiet transformation. The valleys of the Loire River in France, for example, are home to some of the oldest vineyards in the world. Here, in the soft, rolling hills of the valley, the land has been shaped by generations of careful cultivation. The soil, rich with nutrients, has been tended by hand for centuries, producing the grapes that are turned into some of the world's finest wines. The pulse of life in this valley is one of quiet care, of the slow, patient work of those who have learned to listen to the land. The vineyards, with their rows of vines stretching out across the valley floor, tell the story of a long, quiet partnership between human and earth. In this valley, the pulse of life is steady, measured, and full of patience. The valleys of the world are places where the land's heartbeat can be felt most clearly. In the calm of the night, when the winds settle and the world sleeps, the quiet pulse of the earth is still present, though softer now, like the gentle breath of a sleeping child. The land rests, but it does not stop. The valleys are alive with the quiet movements of nature, the slow unfolding of life that continues, unnoticed by most, but ever-present nonetheless. The pulse of the earth is not loud or dramatic, but it is steady and true, a rhythm that has been with the land for millions of years. As you lie here beneath the stars, think of the valleys that stretch out across the world. Think of the quiet pulse that runs through the land. In these places where time seems to slow, there is a deeper rhythm, a connection between the earth and the sky, between the land and the life it sustains. Let this pulse, gentle and steady, fill your mind, and as you drift off to sleep, know that the world is alive with its quiet song, its heartbeat carrying on through the night and into the dawn. The valleys, like the land itself, are never truly silent. They breathe with life, with time, with the subtle pulse that carries us all forward, from one moment to the next. And as the world rests, as you rest, know that the quiet hum of the earth will continue, carrying you gently through the night and into the peaceful embrace of the morning. In the hushed silence of the night, the valleys, with their soft contours and gentle slopes, seem to whisper ancient secrets. They are not just depressions in the land, but the very places where the earth's story is written, layer by layer, century by century. The mountains above stand as silent sentinels, their peaks veiled in mist, watching over the valleys below, guardians of time. The valleys themselves, with their slow-moving rivers and winding paths, carry the weight of history, silent, patient, eternal. In the valleys of the Tibetan Plateau, the wind carries with it the wisdom of the ages. The land here is vast, untouched by the hustle of modern life, a place where the earth feels timeless. The valleys, cradled by the towering peaks of the Himalayas, are home to ancient traditions and a deep connection to the land. Here, in the quiet spaces between the mountains, the rhythm of life moves slowly, in tune with the cycles of nature. The valleys are not only shaped by time, but are also places where time is honored, where life is lived in accordance with the natural world. These valleys, though harsh and cold at times, are full of life. The rivers that flow through them are fed by the snowmelt from the towering peaks, their waters cold and clear, reflecting the sky above. The land here, though sparse in vegetation, is rich with spiritual significance. The valleys are where ancient temples and shrines are built, where the prayers of generations echo through the land. The earth, in its stillness, holds the wisdom of all those who have walked it, who have lived in harmony with its rhythms. In these valleys, life and death are seen as part of a greater cycle, a continuous flow of energy that connects all living things to the earth and the sky. The valleys of Africa, particularly those that stretch through the heart of the continent, are also places of great wisdom. The Great Rift Valley, which cuts through Ethiopia, Kenya, and Tanzania, is not just a geological wonder, but a place of profound significance. The valley is home to some of the earliest human ancestors, and the fossils found here have told the story of the dawn of humanity. The valley itself, formed by the slow, steady movement of tectonic plates, is a reminder that even the deepest changes in the Earth's crust happen over long periods of time. The land, with its dry plains and towering escarpments, holds the secrets of the past, and the air here is thick with the sense of ancient wisdom. As the sun sets over the valley, the sky turns a deep orange, casting a warm glow over the land. The stillness of the valley is broken only by the sound of the wind rustling through the grass and the distant calls of animals as they move across the landscape. In this quiet space, the earth feels alive with the memory of all that has come before. The valleys are the places where the earth's wisdom is stored, like the pages of a book waiting to be read. The land has witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, the movements of peoples, and the quiet passage of time. And through it all, the valleys have remained, steadfast, eternal, holding the earth's stories in their depths. In the valleys of the Pacific Northwest, the wisdom of the land is seen in the dense forests that grow between the mountains. These valleys are lush, green, and teeming with life. The soil here is rich, nourished by the abundant rainfall that falls from the sky. The rivers that carve their way through these valleys are strong and mighty, their waters running swiftly over rocks, carving new paths with each passing year. The forests, with their ancient trees and thick canopies, are the keepers of stories, stories of the land, of the animals that live there, and of the people who have walked these paths for generations. The Native American tribes of the Pacific Northwest, such as the Coast Salish and Haida peoples, have long understood the wisdom of the land. They know that the valleys, with their rivers and forests, are not just resources to be used, but sacred spaces to be revered. The wisdom of these valleys is passed down through generations in the form of oral stories, songs, and rituals. The land is seen as a living being with its own rhythm and pulse, and the people who live here have learned to move in harmony with it. The wisdom of the valleys is not just about the earth's physical properties, but about the interconnectedness of all things: the trees, the rivers, the animals, and the people who live alongside them. As the seasons change, the valleys of the Pacific Northwest shift with them. In the spring, the rivers swell with melting snow, rushing through the valleys with a power that seems to echo the pulse of the earth. In the summer, the land is lush and full of life, the valleys alive with the sound of birds singing and animals foraging for food. In the fall, the trees shed their leaves, and the valley floor is covered in a blanket of gold and red. And in the winter, the valleys are quiet, the snow covering the ground in a soft, white blanket as the world rests, waiting for the return of the sun. The valleys, no matter where they are, have a quiet power. They are the places where the earth's wisdom is stored, where the land and the people are intertwined in a rhythm that is as old as time itself. In these valleys, time moves slowly, in tune with the natural world, and the earth's pulse can be felt in every breath, every heartbeat, every step taken across the land. These valleys, though silent, are full of life, full of stories, full of the wisdom of the earth itself. As you lie here, with the soft rhythm of your own breath filling the quiet space around you, think of the valleys that stretch across the world. Think of the wisdom they hold. In these places, life is not hurried, not rushed. The earth moves in its own time, and so do the people who live alongside it. There is a peace that comes from being in tune with the land, from listening to the quiet whispers of the earth. Let that peace fill you now, as you rest beneath the stars, knowing that the valleys, the mountains, and the rivers continue their quiet, steady rhythm, just as you do, in harmony with the world. Let the wisdom of the earth carry you into a peaceful sleep, where dreams flow like the rivers through the valleys, carrying you gently through the night. As the stars continue to watch silently over the earth, the valleys remain cradled in their timeless embrace, their quiet hum echoing through the night. The mountains, though distant and towering, seem to soften in the moonlight, their jagged outlines now gently smoothed by the darkness. It is here, between the peaks, that the true soul of the land is found. The valleys, shaped by time and nature, offer a quiet refuge, a place where the world can rest and renew itself in the hushed stillness of the night. The valleys are the heart of the land, where life, both hidden and visible, flows in harmony. The soil here is rich with secrets, a testament to the quiet work of nature that unfolds slowly beneath the surface, out of sight. As the land sleeps, the valleys continue their quiet transformation. They are places of change, yet they remain constant, steadfast, ever present. The rhythm of the valleys is a reminder that time is not always measured in moments of grand movement, but in the soft, steady unfolding of the world. In the valleys of the Alps, where the snow-capped peaks rise high above, the land breathes with a stillness that is almost sacred. The air here is thin, crisp, but full of life, carrying the scent of pine and fresh snow. These valleys, carved over millennia by glaciers, are deep and wide, their floors covered in soft meadows and tranquil lakes. The waters of the rivers that run through the valleys are clear and cold, reflecting the purity of the land that surrounds them. The silence in these valleys is profound, broken only by the whisper of the wind through the trees or the distant call of a bird. The silence between the peaks is not emptiness. It is a space full of life, full of movement. The valleys are alive with the subtle rhythms of nature. The rivers, though quiet in the night, carry with them the pulse of the land, flowing gently through the valley, their waters winding through the landscape like a ribbon of life. The earth beneath the rivers is soft, fertile, nourished by the slow, steady work of the land. Here, in the valleys, the earth moves in ways that are invisible to the eye, but deeply felt in the bones of the land. In the valleys of the Himalayas, the air is thin and the world feels far away. The mountains rise like ancient giants, their snow-covered peaks glistening in the pale light of the moon. Yet, it is the valleys that offer the quiet beauty, the peaceful rest. The landscape here is harsh, yet there is a serenity in the way the land folds gently into the earth. The valleys, though surrounded by towering peaks, feel safe, protected, as though they are the guardians of the land's secrets. The rivers that run through these valleys are born from the snowmelt of the high mountains, their waters cold and pure, flowing through the land with a quiet strength. The valleys, though vast and open, are filled with a quiet intimacy, a space where the earth's breath can be felt with each passing moment. And in the valleys of the Andes, the land seems to stretch endlessly, the high-altitude valleys offering a peaceful retreat from the intense heat of the plains below. The air here is dry, thin, but filled with the promise of life. The land, though harsh, is teeming with life that has found a way to flourish in this unforgiving landscape. The rivers that wind through the valleys are the lifeblood of the land, carrying water from the high mountains to the valleys below, where crops are grown and animals graze. The valleys here are places of quiet persistence, where life continues, despite the challenges of the environment. The valleys of the world are places of contrast. In some, life thrives in abundance. In others, life clings to existence, finding strength in the quiet spaces between the mountains. Yet, in all valleys, there is a rhythm, a pulse that beats steadily beneath the surface. The valleys are where the land's story is written, where time is measured not in moments of dramatic change, but in the slow, steady flow of the river, the gentle rustling of the trees, the quiet unfolding of the seasons. In the valleys, the world moves slowly, giving time for the quiet miracles of nature to unfold. The flowers that bloom in the spring, the leaves that change color in the fall, the rivers that carve their way through the land. All of these small miracles are part of the rhythm of the earth, part of the quiet dance between the mountains and the valleys. The valleys are where life finds its balance, where the land and the sky meet in a soft, unspoken harmony. As the night deepens and the moon rises higher in the sky, the valleys rest in their quiet peace. The land breathes in harmony with the stars, the pulse of life flowing gently through the soil, the rivers, the trees. The stillness of the valleys is not an absence of life, but a space where the rhythm of the earth can be felt most clearly. It is in these quiet spaces, between the towering peaks, that the world finds its heartbeat, slow and steady, gentle and unbroken. As you lie here beneath the canopy of stars, think of the valleys that stretch out across the world. Think of the quiet spaces between the mountains where the earth's breath can be felt most deeply. Let the peace of these valleys fill you as the land breathes softly, slowly, with the rhythm of the world. The mountains stand as quiet sentinels, but it is in the valleys that the true heart of the earth can be heard. Let this peaceful silence surround you now, wrapping you in its calm embrace as the valleys continue their quiet, steady rhythm. The world moves in its own time, and as the night deepens, so too does the peace of the valleys. With each breath, the land sleeps, and you sleep with it, carried gently into the quiet stillness of the earth's embrace. As the night deepens and the world around you rests, the valleys, though still, continue their quiet, steady dance with time. Beneath the moonlight, the rivers that run through these valleys shimmer like silver threads woven through the fabric of the land. Their waters, though soft, carry with them the stories of the earth, the journey of water that begins in the high mountains, travels through the valleys, and eventually finds its way to the seas. This cycle, ever constant, ever flowing, is the quiet conversation between water and earth, a dance that has been unfolding for eons. In the valleys of the Scottish Highlands, the rivers are narrow but swift, their waters flowing with a quiet urgency as they carve their way through the landscape. The land here is shaped by water, the rivers cutting deep into the earth, creating valleys that are both peaceful and powerful. The water, though gentle in its flow, has the strength to shape the world around it. The rocks and stones that line the riverbanks are worn smooth by the constant rush of water, their surfaces polished by time. The river, with its steady flow, is a reminder that even the smallest movement, the quietest whisper, has the power to change the world over time. The valleys of the Amazon rainforest offer a different story, one where the rivers are not just channels of water, but the lifeblood of the land. The Amazon River, the the largest river in the world, winds its way through the lush green valleys, carrying with it the essence of the rainforest. The water here is not cold and clear, but warm and rich with life, teeming with the plants, animals, and microorganisms that make the Amazon one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. The river and the land are inseparable here. The flow of the water nourishes the soil, and the soil, in turn, nourishes the river. This delicate balance is the quiet conversation of life, a harmony that has existed for millions of years. In the valleys of the Canadian Rockies, the water is cold and pure, flowing from the snowmelt of the towering peaks above. The rivers here are crystal clear, their waters running fast and strong, carving their way through the land with the quiet force of nature. These valleys, though remote and rugged, are alive with the sound of rushing water, the gentle roar of rivers that run through narrow gorges and wide plains. The land here has been shaped by the movement of glaciers, and the valleys are filled with the marks of the past. Smooth stones, deep scars in the rock, and fertile soil where life thrives. The water, though gentle in its flow, carries with it the power of the mountains, the ancient forces that shaped this land. In the valleys of the African Serengeti, the water flows more slowly, winding its way through the plains and savannas in a quiet, deliberate rhythm. The rivers here are not as fast or as deep as those in the mountains or forests, but they are no less important. The water that flows through these valleys sustains the life of the land, from the towering acacia trees to the herds of wildebeest that roam the plains. The Serengeti, though vast and open, is shaped by the quiet flow of water, the subtle movement of rivers that cut their way through the land, bringing life wherever they go. The conversation between water and earth here is one of balance, of life sustained by the steady, unbroken flow of nature. And in the valleys of the Great Smoky Mountains, where the mist rises from the forests in the early morning light, the water flows gently, winding its way through the land in a slow, deliberate rhythm. The rivers here are calm and peaceful, their waters reflecting the green canopy of trees that line their banks. These valleys, though smaller than some, are filled with the rich life of the Appalachian region. Lush forests, abundant wildlife, and clear streams. The water here, though still, is full of life, carrying the nutrients that feed the soil and nourish the plants. The valleys, shaped by the soft flow of water over time, are alive with the hum of nature, a quiet harmony that echoes through the land. The conversation between water and earth is one that is never ending, one that has been unfolding for as long as the earth has existed. The water flows through the valleys, shaping the land, nourishing the soil, and bringing life wherever it goes. The earth, in turn, offers its support to the water, shaping the rivers, guiding their paths, and allowing life to thrive in its embrace. This gentle dance, this quiet exchange, is a reminder that even the smallest of movements, the subtlest of changes, can have a profound impact on the world around us. As the night deepens, the sound of the rivers continues to fill the valleys, a soft, steady murmur that echoes through the land. The conversation between water and earth is not loud or dramatic. It is quiet, steady, and eternal. It is a reminder that the world is always in motion, always changing, even when it seems still. The valleys, though silent in the night, are alive with the movement of time, the slow, steady pulse of the land. And as you lie here, beneath the sky filled with stars, Think of the rivers that flow through the valleys. Think of the quiet conversation between water and earth. Let the sound of the rivers lull you into a peaceful rest as the world continues its gentle dance, its unbroken rhythm. The valleys, the rivers, the mountains, all are part of this quiet exchange, this timeless conversation that has been unfolding since the beginning of time. As the water flows and the land listens, so too does the earth breathe, steady and true, carrying you softly into the night. Let the whispers of the land fill you, and as you drift off to sleep, know that the conversation of water and earth will continue, as it always has, carrying the pulse of life through the valleys and beyond. As the stillness of the night deepens, the valleys lie calm under the soft glow of the moon. The mountains above, though distant, watch over them with the same quiet vigilance they have held for millennia. The land, though in repose, is not still. Even in the silence, there is a slow, steady transformation taking place. The earth, in its quiet way, is always moving, always changing, even when we cannot see it. The valleys, though peaceful in their appearance, are places of constant renewal, where time unfolds gently, like the quiet turning of a page. The valleys of the Himalayas, with their rugged landscapes and towering peaks, are the birthplace of some of the most ancient and powerful forces on Earth. The land here is shaped by the forces of tectonic movement, where the Earth's crust shifts slowly over time, creating valleys that have witnessed the birth of mountains. The river that winds through these valleys, the Ganges, is more than just a river. It is a symbol of life, of transformation, and of the Earth's constant motion. As the river flows, it carries with it the stories of the land, the gentle erosion of rock, the shifting of the earth, the cycles of life and death that are ever present in the valley. In the quiet of the valley, the river flows over smooth stones, its waters gently carving new paths, reshaping the land as it moves. The water, though soft, carries the force of time with it, slowly changing the landscape, smoothing the edges of mountains, deepening the gorges, and creating new life. This transformation is slow, imperceptible to the naked eye, but it is constant. The valley, though it appears to rest in the quiet of the night, is always in motion, shaped by the water, the wind, and the shifting of the earth beneath it. In the valleys of the Serengeti, the change is more subtle but no less profound. The land here, though seemingly vast and open, is in constant flux. The flow of the rivers that wind through these valleys shapes the land, carving new paths through the grasslands and creating new spaces for life to take root. The seasonal rains, though infrequent, bring transformation to the valley. The land, dry and parched during the long dry season, is suddenly filled with life as the rains arrive. The rivers swell, their waters carrying with them the promise of renewal, and the valley comes alive with the vibrant green of new growth. In these moments, the valley seems to transform before your eyes, as if the earth itself is waking from a long slumber, stretching and reaching for the sky. In the valleys of the Rockies, the transformation is quieter, but no less significant. The land here is shaped by glaciers, their slow advance and retreat carving deep gorges into the earth. As the glaciers move, they leave behind a rich tapestry of life. Wildflowers that bloom in the spring, grasses that sway in the breeze, and trees that reach for the sky. The rivers, fed by the snowmelt from the towering peaks, flow steadily through these valleys, nourishing the land and creating fertile soil for new life to grow. The transformation here is one of gradual change, as the land shifts over time, shaped by the forces of nature that work slowly but surely. Even in the smallest of valleys, change is occurring. The valleys in the deep forests of the Pacific Northwest are shaped by the quiet work of the rain. The land here, though covered in dense forests, is constantly reshaped by the water that falls from the sky. The rivers, though smaller than those in the mountains or plains, carve their way through the land, their waters creating new channels, new paths for life to follow. The rain, though constant, is gentle. It seeps into the soil, nourishing the land, helping the trees and plants grow strong. The transformation here is soft, imperceptible to most, but it is always happening. The land breathes, and in its breath, the forest grows. As the night deepens, the valleys continue their quiet transformation. The land is always moving, always changing, though we may not always see it. The soft rustling of the leaves in the trees, the steady flow of the rivers, the quiet pulse of the earth, all are signs of the land's constant, unbroken rhythm. The valleys are places of transformation, where the earth is shaped by time and water, wind and stone. They are places where life finds a way, where the land continues to evolve, to grow, and to change in its own time. In the silence of the night, as you rest beneath the stars, think of the valleys that stretch across the world. Think of the slow, steady transformation that is taking place beneath the surface. The earth is never still, even when it seems to be at rest. The land is always changing, always evolving, moving with the rhythm of time. The valleys are the quiet places where this transformation happens, where the forces of nature work slowly but surely, shaping the world in ways that are imperceptible but profound. As the world sleeps, as the night wraps around you like a soft blanket, know that the valleys, the mountains, the rivers, they are always moving, always shifting, always growing. The earth is alive with the quiet transformation of life. The rivers flow, the trees sway in the wind, the land changes in its own time. And just as the valleys continue to evolve, so too does the world around you, shifting slowly, gently, with the rhythm of the earth's breath. Let the quiet movement of the land soothe you as you drift off to sleep, knowing that the valleys, though still in the night, are never truly silent. They are alive with the whispers of time, with the steady pulse of the earth's transformation. The world moves in its own time, and as you sleep, the earth continues its quiet dance, shaping the land, nourishing life, and carrying you gently into a peaceful rest. In the deep embrace of the night, when the stars shimmer with a quiet, eternal glow, the valleys rest, cradled in the arms of the mountains that rise like ancient sentinels. The land is still, but it is never truly silent. Beneath the surface, beneath the soft rustling of the trees and the whisper of the wind, the earth continues its quiet dance, ever changing, ever moving. The valleys, though still and serene, are alive with the pulse of the land, a pulse that is gentle yet powerful, constant and unbroken. The valleys of the world are places where time seems to stand still, yet they are shaped by time in ways that are both subtle and profound. In the valleys of the Andes, the land tells the story of the Earth's ancient past. The high-altitude valleys, surrounded by the towering peaks of the mountains, have witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. The ancient Inca people, who once lived in these valleys, built cities that still stand today. Their ruins a testament to the enduring connection between the land and the people who call it home. The valleys, though quiet, carry the echoes of those who lived here long ago. The wind, which blows softly through the valleys, seems to carry their stories, as if the land itself holds their memories. In the valleys of the Great Rift Valley in East Africa, the story of the earth is written in the very fabric of the land. The shifting of tectonic plates, the deep cracks in the Earth's surface, the volcanic eruptions, all of these forces have shaped the valleys over millions of years. The land here is young, still evolving, still changing. The valleys, though they may seem quiet, are alive with the energy of the Earth's transformation. The waters of the lakes that dot the valley floors shimmer in the moonlight, and the sound of the wind carries the scent of the earth, rich and fertile. The life here is abundant, from the herds of wildebeest that roam the plains to the birds that soar above the valleys, their calls echoing through the land. The valleys of the Alps are no less profound, though their beauty is quieter, more subtle. The land here is shaped by glaciers, their slow movement carving deep grooves into the earth over millions of years. The valleys, though peaceful, are filled with the remnants of the past. Ancient rock formations, deep gorges, and clear, sparkling lakes. The sound of the river that runs through the valley is gentle, its waters gliding over smooth stones, carrying with them the essence of the mountains above. The land is a quiet testament to the forces of nature, to the slow, patient work of ice and water that has shaped the world. Here, in the valleys, life continues, finding its rhythm in harmony with the land.